So the general advice here is to make sure any replacements that you do it ethically, that it is ultimately in the best interest of the prospect, and you make sure to fully disclose exactly what's going on. If you replace coverage and you're screwing people, you will end your days as an insurance agent. There was an agent out of Indiana that was a top producer many years ago. She was replacing wholesale first day full coverage policies with Gerber, and she got termed because she was screwing people, figuratively. Don't be that guy or gal. If you are going to replace, only do it when it's ethical. And that to me means you're helping the client improve and you're not causing them issues or pain and putting them in a worse position. Okay, so let's talk about, though, how to do it, because a lot of agents, there is a huge opportunity for new business sales off of replacements. I've seen agents who make 40% of their sales based off of replacements. That's a huge number. My number was never that high. As an agent, over the thousands of appointments I wrote, probably 20 to 25% of my sales were replacements. So knowing how to replace, what to look for, and how to position the replacement is very imperative. So I want to spend some time kind of setting this up to best prepare and equip you in order to replace ethically yet effectively. So first of all, how do we get to a replacement conversation? Well, if you remember earlier back in the sales presentation, what we want to do is ask the client, what are you doing right now for your existing life insurance coverage? And if the answer is, well, I got XYZ company, at this point you need to fact find. Ask some questions about the amount of coverage it is, how much it cost, how long they've had it for, is it term or whole life? And at that point, tell the client, well, why don't we do this? Go grab your policy. Part of my service to you is to review it to make sure you got exactly what you need and to make sure what your situation is. So go grab that, I'll wait for you. So tell them to go get it. They'll get it 80% of the time. And then go ahead and sit down and review it with you. The good news is most people have never reviewed their policy. It just gets shoved in, a bookshelf somewhere until you ask about it. And they're curious too, because they don't quite remember all the details. I mean, I've got life insurance. I run a life insurance agency. I'm an influencer. And I don't know how much I've got. It's funny. I've been thinking about adding more for a while, of course, just like our damn prospects. Just wait, thinking about it. But I don't know exactly how much I have, and I don't know how much long in the term I have. So it's just funny. Like this is just the nature, but this is an instructive point, teachable moment. Policy reviews are good, and you should help your clients. It's a service to them because they don't probably remember all the details. So get that policy, bring it out, and what you need to be doing is reviewing a few key pieces on the policy. First of all, you want to review the summary statement, usually the first, second, or third page in. It's going to tell you how much coverage it is, what type it is, how much it costs, and give you whether or not it's a smoker or non-smoker rating class. If there's any dissonance or difference in what the client told you versus what is said there, now you can show them what it says versus what they say. And this causes, in many cases, concern in the client's mind. Did the agent actually tell me the truth? And therein lies a new opportunity. We'll get to that. That's kind of painted across all of this. The second thing we need to look at is a few pages in, especially if this is whole life or permanent coverage, is to look at the table of values or summary statement. This tells you how much coverage the client has each year, the cash value as well. What we're looking for is to confirm that the client actually is first day full coverage, if that's what they believe, and then show how the coverage is actual full coverage or it isn't. Some people might think they have a full coverage policy from the first day, but it's to your weight. And then you can go show them in the back where it says ROP plus 10%, or it says a smaller number than the face amount they thought they have. And then they realize, I'm not covered. I thought I was. Those people lied to me, okay? Also, I'm going to look for, if it's a term plan, look for that term, show them the term. I'm going to show them the fine print on how it cancels, goes up in price, that kind of thing. And then the last place I'm going to look is in the actual copy of the application in the back of the policy. Now, the back of the policy, every single policy has an application copy that was done at the time of sale. And that copy of the application tells you a lot of good information on the policy that the client might not be aware of. There are lots of issues that could formulate that you can uncover doing your detective work here. I'll give you a couple here. One thing, again, that there are a lot of agents out there that do what's called clean sheeting. They put down information different than what the client does. Sometimes the client's in on the scam too, okay? It's not like all agents or all clients are, angels as well. Sometimes it's a mutual effort to defraud the insurance company. So we're looking for those discrepancies. So where are the most common discrepancies on the application as it was submitted versus reality? Smoking. A lot of our clients who are on their second pack of menthols by 11 a.m. are rated non-smoker. And they were either in on it or not. But the agent recorded it as something other than a smoker rate. Okay, so we're looking for that. And if they've got smoker rates, and they should have smoker rates, and they don't, there's a problem of, will the client pay out the amount that it should? Height weight discrepancies. I've seen agents who've recorded clients at 5'8", 220 pounds that were really 5'3", 300 pounds. And whatever, the company didn't pick it up. And so now they're in this position of, their height weight discrepancy, which may preclude them from getting full coverage if they died, right? Because they really shouldn't have been in it because the height weight chart's got to be concerned with. And then also, of course, the questions on the application themselves. The ones that were answered no that should have been answered yes. There's lots of people out there that use oxygen that answer no on the app that should have answered yes, or have COPD. They answered no, it should have answered yes, and so on and so forth. So doing good detective work on these policies is going to give you an opportunity to not just say that you need to get rid of this plan, but to show them that what they have is inferior and is going to cause significant problems. By the way, what kind of problems are we looking at? Well, if they have first day full coverage and the policy is less than 2 years old and they kick the bucket, every company contests claims. They're going to say, wait a minute, before we pay this out, let's just make sure that we actually should pay this out. So we're going to request information from current doctors to make sure what the client alleged to be their health actually stands up against the truth. And if they find out, they've smoked 2 packs a day and have for all 75 years of their lives, and they answered non-smoker, well, they're going to get declined, or they may get a very decreased payout. But what is going to happen is going to be a problem. Now, beyond 2 years, misrepresentation is something they can't contest anymore, right? So if the client fraudulently or didn't fraudulently misrepresent, doesn't matter, it has to pay unless they can prove it, but the companies aren't going to usually spend the time and money to do that, to investigate that. So it's that first 2 years that are the most prevalent where we see this problem, and therein lies the opportunity. If you can identify the problems on the application that were misrepresented, possibly fraudulently by the agent or the client, then you can suggest, hey, here's what's going to happen if you die, and let me fix this by getting you this company instead. That is the right and earnest pathway, but also gives you first day full coverage. So then this opens up the opportunity to, again, sell the right policy, and probably to sell more than just the second policy because you did the extra legwork to uncover what the client had and to show them the problems with it. Of course, not everything that you replace is going to be misrepresentation or fraud. Sometimes you'll run into deals. It's just a 2-year wait policy when they can get first day full coverage, or it's a term to 80 product that they didn't know it was term, and now you can replace it and get it first day full coverage. So you're going to run into that, Stu. But all the same kind of methodology here applies. You're going to look through this policy, work through it, and show them the details. Now, again, as a new agent, all of this is going to be overwhelming. It's normal. But you'll eventually develop an understanding of the different companies that are out there and kind of what they do, and even to the point where you get to see the same agents over and over and kind of know which ones are honest and which ones are unethical. I definitely saw my fair share of that in my years running appointments and selling insurance, so kind of knowing the lay of the land. But it takes time to develop that kind of understanding and perspective. If you're thinking about selling insurance, consider joining DeFord Insurance Group. We have programs that will provide you free leads. We have programs for brokers that want to buy their own leads. And most importantly, for every single agent that joins the Ford Insurance Group, we provide one-on-one mentorship from experienced agents to help you become as best as possible in the final expense face-to-face or telesales arena. Go to davidduford.com to learn more.